Hey everyone, it's Salman Qureshi. You're listening to the Expat Brat podcast, and I am so proud of myself because I've gone and finally got one of these in-home indoor mosquito zapping things. I I don't know. At some point, I read about how they're terrible for having around the house for a few reasons. Well, obviously, if you've got a kid, you don't want them zapping themselves because, kids do that sort of stuff. And then I'm very kiddish in some ways, so I was scared that I would just touch it out of curiosity as well. But more than that, there was one time I read about how when these mosquitoes are zapped, like their dead bodies, that zapped stuff like floats into the air. I don't know. Is that supposed to be gross or I? It's like a burnt body just kind of in your airwaves. I just around you, and so do you inhale it by mistake? I don't know how this stuff works. Okay, I don't. But I've got one, and it's really cool. And so far, it's not working. So I'm quite proud of buying it, but I think I'm not using it right. I need to figure this out. But it looks cool in like this little corner of my house, all lit up and stuff, like I'm some professional restaurant. Like I don't know. It's just we live the area I live in. If you leave the balcony door open for just like 2 minutes, there's like flies and mosquitoes all around. I don't know why that is. I think it's I'm in the wild, man. I'm in the suburbs of Dubai. Like I am out in the desert, like literally in the desert. Like if you came over to my place and you looked out my balcony, you would see nothing but desert. It's quite awesome in some ways, but not when these flies and mosquitoes are. I mean, when I think about the desert, I don't think about flies and mosquitoes as typical desert animals. Now, if a camel was like flying in through my balcony, I'd be like, fair. That makes sense. That is fair. But these little creatures, what are they doing here? I've never watched a movie or a cartoon where in the desert they were the problem, right? Horses, camels, bad sheriffs, cactus. That's another thing I wonder about, like in Dubai. Like I look out in the desert, and I realize how much Hollywood movies and cartoons have left a mark in my expectations, because we don't have cactus here, or is it cacti for plural? Cacti, right? Why don't we have that growing out here? Because it's supposed to be the best thing in the desert, right? Because the whole water and whatever, blah blah blah. There's none of that here. None of it. And instead, we've got these different trees and stuff. I wonder if I brought a cactus and just left it out here in the desert, would they multiply and change the whole ecosystem? I don't know. Pretty soon, they'll be like Indians and cowboys. Indians and cowboys just hovering around as well because, well, that's it. It just changed the whole thing up just from one cactus. I don't know, but it's not there. It's not. Dubai deserts are different. I should do some research on this stuff. As I talk about this, I kind of wonder about things I should rather be doing. I mean, yeah. Anyway, it was supposed to be a positive start of me buying this zapper and feeling like a grown up. So far, I had one of these. You get these rackets that you kind of have to swing and hit, and then they zap them midair. I love that stuff, but then I got a tennis elbow out of it. Not so much an actual tennis elbow, but honestly, like I think my right hand, my shoulder has been a little off, and and so I was zapping, and it hurt. Funny stuff that happens with age. So I can't chase them around anymore. I'm not gonna lie, I got some like weird satisfaction out of doing it. And now to have this nuclear bomb kind of just placed in a corner, waiting for them to come in, lured in, and zap themselves, in some ways makes me feel relaxed and cool. But in other ways, I miss it. I miss the chase. I miss the hunt. I don't feel like a man anymore. Maybe I should get rid of this and go back to swatting it. I'll do it with my left hand. My left shoulder's still good. These stupid flies and mosquitoes. It's also every time I buy these flowers for my wife, It was her birthday recently, and I got these flowers, and thankfully one of them has kept up and is still alive. The rest of the batch died pretty quickly. It was quite sad. The amount of money you spend on these flowers, and then they die. I don't mind the money. I just mind them dying quickly. So this was one big hydrangea. Shit. If only I could ever learn the name properly. Hydrangea. Look it up, man. So it's like this big flower. It's like sitting like very pretty. It has a nice smell, but these flowers also attract the mosquitoes, and that's a problem. You know, that's that's how my life is. what a what a weird podcast. Why are you still listening to this? All right, guys, listen. I've had a great year, 2023, man. 2023. It's December. It's December 11th when I'm recording this. I don't know when you're listening to this and when this gets put out, but it's 20 days away from the end of 2023, and it's been a weird, good, bad year for me. Like there've been some real highs and there've been some real lows. It's like it's fluctuated like my Bitcoin, the Bitcoin currency has. It's when it shoots up, it shoots up. When it fell, oh my God, it hurt. I think that's what this year has been. There've been some really great highs and awful, awful lows, which all of just summed up with this war going on against the Palestinians, and that I'm not going to talk about that in this one because my social media is full of it, and I think that requires a whole different episode. At some level, I feel like a complete moron to be even talking about it because I watch a lot of it, and there are enough people reporting it on the grounds, talking about the history, talking about it, like really well done, young people as well, and it just puts me to shame. The all I do for my bit is just watch and reshare. That's my job. I realize everyone has a job sometimes, and you're not always the leader or the voice of every movement or something. And my job is to retweet, repost, and reshare. So so that's what I'm doing, and it's awful. It's awful that I feel so hopeless about the situation right now. It's like 60 days in, and yesterday the U.S. vetoed another attempt at ceasefire. I don't know what to say. I just you kind of just go, why are we even why are we even kidding ourselves about this stuff? Why are we pretending that any of this matters? And I know more than most people from a very earlier age, and not because I'm like some wise guy or something, but my dad, the kind of work my dad did, it's very similar to the United Nations stuff. And his friends, my uncles and stuff, they would joke about like, all you guys do is hold meetings and discuss the next thing and condemn stuff. But what do you actually get done? To be fair to my dad and his work, one of the things he did say was that, at the very least, we get these guys talking and to share a table from time to time so that they feel like we are linked up. And I get that. But in moments like these and on occasions like these, if you can call this a freaking occasion, it feels hopeless. And the fact that power is so centered into such small amounts of people or countries or whatever way you look at it, it really, the whole thing just smacks of, have we changed at all? We talk about the world having advanced and grown and whatnot, and it probably has. It probably has. I usually defend it. I usually think, hey, I'm not living in the medieval ages where like I don't know, a cough might kill me, a flu might kill me, but now bombs bombs can kill us. So it's is it really any different? Because throughout history, all I feel like is people, the people in power. It's just a cycle, isn't it? The people in power. It's 1984. Maybe that's why I love that book, the Animal Farm. Sorry, Animal Farm. That's what it is. It's more like an animal circus. We get these people who get all the power. They corrupted. They get corrupted. They were corrupt from the start, and then they start doing bad stuff until like a point comes where people go enough, and then they attack. There's a rebellion and people attack back and they stand up and then they overthrow the evil bad stuff guys and whatever, and then the movie resets. There's a sequel where the bad guys, they turn into the bad guys, or new bad guys show up. And the problem is it always comes back to all this power and money just centering into the hands of a few. And so while you have the illusion of freedom and betterment and whatnot, at the end of the day, they're in control. And if you're not part of that elite, then what do you do? And unfortunately, I'm not. So I went from mosquito zappers to I don't know. Is this conspiracy theory or just philosophy or just me being depressing? What a way to end the year. The it's also hard to talk about the good stuff right now because I am happy about a few things. My kid, it's not easy sometimes parenting a child that's neurodivergent, and there are times when I really struggle because you had these conceptions of what parenting might be and what I'm supposed to do and how I would do it, and you read up on all the books and advice that people have, and you're like, yeah, I'll apply this when it's my turn. And then my kid has made me throw out the playbook, because every day I kind of have to learn how to work with him, and so there's some real lows with that too, and real difficult stuff. But when I look back, I'm so glad at the progress he's made and how well he's doing and what a great kid he is. He's really fun to be around most of the time, as much as any parent would love to be around their kids. I love being around him. I miss him when I'm away from him for too long, and he's so fun. He's just a fun, happy. He's happy, He just reminds me to just be happy. And anytime he's sad or upset or crying, it's because it's just the simple things he wants. He just wants his toy really badly. Then he wants to watch something. He wants to eat. He's sleepy. That's it. Like really, just he keeps it simple, right? And it's lovely. And then he gives the best hugs and stuff. So I'm really proud of everything he's done. I'm proud of my wife, how much she has worked with him and to support him, and it really is great. So that's a real nice high, and I've been very lucky. But I've lost family members, particularly the one that hurt most was my father-in-law, and that was a big low. That was a big low because I so much love and respect for that guy, and I haven't really talked about it on my socials and stuff because I just wanted this to be private. There's some things that I don't want to share, and that was a big low because he was a real good person, real titan of a man, looked up to him, not just because he was like 6 foot or whatever. And I feel bad because my kid loses his grandfather and couldn't spend more time, and obviously it hurts my wife and her mom and sibling and stuff. So it's those are some bad lows. Gaza and losing my father-in-law were some bad lows. Personally though, I've just been happy to kind of work but also cruise a little bit. I think I'm at that age now where I'm like, let go a little bit, just let go. And there are times when I want to get gung-ho and do things and stuff, and I'm not telling you not to be ambitious and whatnot, but sometimes it just feels nice that that I'm letting things happen a little bit too, and if something is just being too difficult, I'm kind of like, I'm tired of these ideas of like, yeah, just make it happen, just break through the wall and just do it. Like the whole David Goggin, is that his name? I love his book, by the way, but sometimes I'm like, man, it's too much. Just relax, buddy. Just take a break. Watch some TV. God, live a little, Just relax and stop making everyone think they want to be like you. So I don't know. There's like this fine balance. it's funny because when I teach people improv, uh, work with people, just perform it myself. One of the biggest things is about improvisational theater and comedy is that you kind of have to allow yourself to bend and flow, right? Um, and kind of adjust and react to what is there and try to make the most of what is there. And so that's why sometimes I'm like, sometimes that's a better approach instead of this whole gung ho. I'll break through walls and just make anything happen because it's just like it just frustrates me. And this bit just made me realize I had to be more honest with myself. And so if there are things that are just not working out right now, then it is what it is, right? Because most of the time, I don't know if it's a recent phenomenon with the media and the social media platforms and TV and whatever, that everything feels like you must do it now. It's getting too late. You're gonna get old and it's not gonna work out and blah blah blah. And maybe that it's a valid fear, right, to some extent. But at the same time, I'm also like, hey, what about now and just doing the best with what you have now? And I think MacGyver did very well by concentrating on that. If you got the reference, then you probably enjoy listening to my podcast. If you don't, oh dear, you might be too young. What are you doing on here, listening this deep into the conversation? MacGyver. Um, yeah, that's what it is, though. It's kind of letting go a little bit and seeing this is what's coming up. Realistically, this is what I'm able to do, and it has really helped me a lot. There's still times when I really want to get more done, or I think that's just the way our brain will function forever. But on the opposite scale, I've kind of been able to do more things because I'm just like, this is what I have the capacity for. So let me just do this well. And I found myself enjoying a few things better as well. Like for some time, I had this. I've had a funny year. Same thing, up and down with stand-up comedy, with performing. I love it. I love it all the time. I love making an audience laugh. And there are times when I'm just too tired and it's been too busy, or I've had one of these lows that have happened in life, and it's made me go, I don't. It's been a struggle to perform. And other times where I'm like, I'm just loving it. I've had these flows where I did more of it. So even throughout that stuff, it's been quite an interesting career, not career, sorry, year, and I want to do more of it. But I've gone back to just enjoying it, and not making too much happen, like worrying about whether I can put out something, whether I put out enough, whether I've got enough fans, and that stuff can become all consuming. And I get it, why, because when it's your career, it means being able if you want to do it full time and stuff, then you need to have those things. You need to be able to tour freely and make money and blah blah. But to me, what I was missing out on was just coming up with this new joke and just trying it out and risking it. And I think it's been nice to have this, like, kind of going back to just that, and really just enjoying stand-up comedy and enjoying learning it again, and going back to learning it as opposed to not experimenting, not taking risks, and being in this like bad place. I hit this ceiling performance wise and stuff, and I just wasn't happy with it. And it just feels a lot better once I've gone back to kind of just having fun with it, and trying to have a good time with it, and going back to why I like doing it as well. It has been a big it's been a big change in terms of that, and I just hope to continue that. So career wise, family wise, world politics wise, yeah, real up and down of a very highs, very lows. It's been interesting. I am really glad that as we're ending it, overall, the year feels a bit of a win. 20 days left, though. 20 days left. Oh, no. This is Around the half year time, I gave up on some of my goals for the year. The stupid mosquito thing is still not working, by the way. I'm gonna go back to switching it off because clearly the flies are not going to the light. Maybe that's deeper meaning for something. I don't know. Anyway, it's yeah, it's been that kind of year with this stuff. We got 20 days left. I'm gonna shoot in a few more episodes before the year ends, and my last episode, hopefully, I'll give you just for laughs. I'll give you a little reflection on everything I got better at and got worse at, and or just stayed the same, and let's see what 365 days did on my journey as well. Listen, thanks for listening. I really am bugged by this mosquito thing. I'm just gonna go switch it off. It's 20 minutes later. The same flies are hovering closer to me than to that thing. So clearly, we can see this is a proper failure. Anyway, have a good time, guys, and I will catch you in the next episode. Thank you for listening.